Hello, I'm Arthur, and I'm 89 years old.
Art, what makes you smile?
Life in general. The fact I'm still here, that I have good friends, and the program I help out with, Senior Issues, gives me some purpose in life.
What is the craziest thing you've seen in your life? Anything come to mind?
When I enlisted in the Navy at 17, that was crazy. That's about as crazy as you could get. I found that out later on. So there were 6 boys in my family. It was a house, was probably 1,100 square feet. My parents' bedroom had no closet. We had an indoor bathroom. And frankly, we thought we were living high off the hog. We were in good shape. Of the 6 boys, the only person who wasn't in the service was my oldest brother, who was married, had a child. So I would say my family pretty much took care of their obligations to this country.
Think about the most difficult time in your life. Is there any advice you'd give to someone going through something similar to that?
The worst time in my whole life was when my wife passed away, who had never been ill at all. If she had a headache, she took a half an aspirin. And she woke me up one night with a terrible headache, and she had a bleed on the back of her head. And they sent a scan to the neurosurgeon down in Chicago. And he came out the next morning, and he said, "Mr. Kick, nothing to worry about. It's such a minor bleed. You walk from here to the end of the hall down there, not very far." She had a second bleed. Rushed her down to surgery. She got through surgery, and we were by her side in the bed, and she knew we were there. She'd hold your hand, squeeze it. My oldest daughter came back about 9 o'clock that night, and to see her mother, came back and said, "Ma didn't squeeze my hand." I said, "She was probably sleeping. It was 9 o'clock, you know." Next morning, I got in with my 3 children, and the neurosurgeon said, "I want to see you in the office." And he said, "Your wife's brain dead." I said, "Pull the plugs." That was probably the hardest thing in my life. And I think you have 2 choices. The one choice would be to sit in your recliner and die. And the second choice is to continue on with your life.
Who is the person that you would say influenced your life the most?
My father. My father. Because you realize my father raised us so that we knew we had responsibilities, we had things we had to do, and so I would say yes, my father.
Art, what's one thing about this life that you wish you understood more clearly?
I wish I understood our system of government a little better than I do. One of the things that just drives me crazy is that they allow the sale of assault weapons in gun shops. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. That gun is designed for one thing, to kill people. I think it's unconscionable to do that, to allow that.
What do you feel we could do to reduce hatred and prejudice in this world?
I think that one of the things you can do is get to know your neighbors, get to know the people around you, realize that they're like you. They're the same issue. I don't care if they're a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian or what they are. If they're a decent person, they're a decent person. And if you realize that, you won't have the problems. We were put on this earth to see if we can get along with one another. If you start to know your neighbor, you start to know the people around you, you'll find that they're like you. They're decent people.